We all know that the First World War ends in 1918, with the defeat of the Central Empires. But what would have happened if Central Empires had won? How would have been the world? Let's suppose that Italy joined Central Empires in 1915. They defeat Russia first. Then they turn all their forces toward west, and in August 1916, they defeat France, causing Britain to ask for armistice. On February 4, 1917, United States entered the war on May 1916, but they had no time to deploy all their power. First World War is over. Central Empires have won. The peace conference is held in Potsdam, near Berlin. Germany gained part of Belgium, the rest of Alsace-Lorraine, various French and Belgian colonies. Italy gained Nizza, Savoia, Corsica, Albania, and Tunisia. Austria-Hungary gets Serbia and Montenegro. Bulgaria annexed Macedonia. Ottomans gain Arabia and protectorate over Azerbaijan. Ireland is now independent. This is the only territorial loss of British Empire. Nobody can't beat Royal Fleet. An invasion is impossible. Pro-German states are formed in Poland, Finland, Ukraine, and Baltic. And now, what would have happened after the end of the First War, in case of German victory? Belgium is a republic. Germans were not allowed to turn it into a protectorate. British refused to give back German and Italian colonies, if Belgium was not independent. Not because they love Belgian people, but because the port of Antwerp is a pistol pointed at Britain's heart, and they can't let it in German hands. Netherlands is neutral. Finland is a kingdom, with close ties with the German Empire. The king is Frederick Charles of Hesse, brother-in-law of the German Kaiser. Baltic states are part of United Baltic Duchy. It's a German protectorate. The head of state is Adolf Friedrich, Duke of Mecklenburg-Schwerin. Several attempts of Germanization are made in those lands, in the 30s. Poland is a kingdom, ruled by the German Catholic Duke Albrecht. Poland, in 1920, has limited autonomy, but, year by year, they start to gain independence, and in 1937, Poland is quite autonomous. Ukraine is an independent state, under German protection, headed by Pavlo Skoropadsky, a former Russian army general. Romania is a constitutional monarchy. Austria-Hungary Empire do not survive long after First World War. Too much ethnic groups, and Slavs are now as numerous as Germans, and they do not want to be ruled by Germans. Austria, now under King Karl I, after Franz Joseph's death in 1916, has a plan for the United States of Danube, with equal self-governance to each ethnic group. But this compromises the Hungarian power, and they oppose the creation of a confederation. In 1920, several states declare independence. The empire collapses under too strong nationalist influence. There are ethnic problems, some conflict border, then Germans step in and stabilize things, trying to ensure these governments remain friendly. Karl I died in 1922, then Austria became a republic. The Great Depression in 1930 hit Europe, leading to high unemployment and poverty. In 1931, Austrians vote annexation to Germany. In the Republic of Yugoslavia, after the war, there are ethnic tension between Croats and Serbs. On June 20, 1928, a Serb deputy shot at 5 members of the opposition. The constitution is suspended, and Ante Koroška, the prime minister, assumed executive power. In 1937, Yugoslavia is a dictatorship. Kursk is the dictator, similar to Tito. Czechoslovakia is a parliamentary democracy. It faces the problem of an increasing German separatism. Germans are 3 millions, out of 14 millions of the population of Czechoslovakia. In 1931, Czechoslovakia is forced to cede Bohemia and Moravia to Germany. In 1932, Slovakia declared its independence. In 1933, Czech state become a German protectorate. Western powers are not in a position to prevent that. Hungary is a republic. In 1937, Galicia has strong ethnic tension between Polish and Ukrainians, with wide areas dominated by Ukrainians. Ottoman Empire is very unstable. It has been in decay for centuries. Arab nationalism, bad economy, and bad leadership, and collapses into chaos in 1920. The presence of German military, advisor, and investments make those lands to fall under German influence. In this situation, in Russia, communism does not prevail. Allied did not support whites. They see Bolsheviks and communism as a problem for the Germans, and the best way to weaken Russia definitively. But Germany, Austria, and Italy are worried that communist revolutionary ideas would spread, and support the anti-communist forces. They shift a lot of material, downsizing their army, to ease the economic recovery, create a lot of weapons without owners. In 1919, the White Army's advances are successful. Red Army is defeated in a series of battles, in November 1919. Lenin is shot near Petrograd. A provisional government is installed in Moscow. Germany tried to support the new Tsar, Duke Constantin. But Germany hasn't the power, or the will, to control Russia. On March 18, 1920, a Golub established Anton Ivanovich Denikin as dictator. Romanovs are allowed to go into exile, in the Netherlands. Communism remains a dream among intellectuals, like anarchy. In 1937, Russia is a dictatorship. It's a smaller, but much more stronger, thanks to avoiding communism. Spanish Civil War starts in 1936, but without the fear of communism, there is no foreign intervention. In 1937, Spain is still involved in a civil war, made of numerous small battles, and many atrocities. In 1920, China is into a civil war. No communism does not mean people does not revolt. Germany has strong economic interest in Asia, and back China, so there is no Sino-Japanese war. Chiang Kai-shek, with German assistance, succeeded in bringing China under its control. Mao remains a farmer, unknown outside his village. USA, follow the same historical path we all know. In 1920 began a recession, followed by the Great Depression, in 1929. In 1932, Roosevelt started the New Deal, and, in 1937, he is the president of the major power in the world. For Britain, victory or defeat does not change much. British do not lose territory, or pay any reparations. But British Empire's decline is accelerated by defeat. And it's unable to contain nationalism in the empire. Australia, and Canada, are independent by 1930, and look at USA for a powerful protector. Burma, Egypt, South Africa, and India, become more autonomous, ending the British Empire. This is not a great problem. Colonies, since 1900, are virtually worthless. In 1937, George VI is the King of United Kingdom. Chamberlain is the Prime Minister. Britain is still a big player, in world arena. France is in chaos, like it was after 1870. They have to pay reparations of 10 billion marks, have to destroy fortifications, lost part of its colonies. Army forced to 50,000 men limit. The humiliating peace terms provoked bitter indignation throughout France, and weakened the Fifth Republic. There are increasingly violent street battles, between socialists and Rhine movements. In 1929, the Great Depression hit French economy hard, producing unemployment and hyperinflation. Republic enters in crisis, like Weimar Republic did. There is an attempt to reintroduce a Bourbon dynasty, then a Hitler-like figure emerged in France. In 1933, Action Française, a nationalist right political movement, overthrew the Republic, and its leader, Charles Maurras, gains the power in France, with an ideology similar to Nazism, and start rearming. Germany and Italy cannot force France to keep low army units. The new regime starts to reclaim lost lands, and it's particularly hostile towards Jews. Anti-Semitism had always existed in France. Maurras claims Jews are responsible for the defeat. There is not Holocaust, but the government tolerates frequent humiliations and pogroms. In Italy, during the 20s, born the fascist ideology, a mixture of social welfare, nationalism, government involvement in the economy. Fascism is a socialist-based movement, as communism, same result, but at least fascist economy do not starve its people. Without communism, will be fascist ideology to defend worker rights. War, and naval blockade, bring the Italian economy near collapse, as in the rest of Europe. A generation has been lost. Economic crisis, socialist violences and political instability bring Mussolini and fascism to power, in the 1924 elections. In 1935, Italians occupy Ethiopia. In 1937, Mussolini is the Prime Minister of Italy, under Savoy monarchy. Germany and Italy are allied. Germany is a world superpower, after the war. Chaos and instability, that allowed the rise of the Nazism, does not happen. Germany remains a monarchy, under Wilhelm II. Hitler still go into politics, but its party gains only 2% of the vote. The Kriegsmarine expand to the point of posing a seriously rival the Royal Navy, at least in European waters. Kaiser dream, to have an empire, is real. But German politics is very tumultuous. Kaiser Wilhelm do not accept any constitutional changes, and approve measures to limit the power of the Reichstag. This create a more autocratic Germany. Most of German people appreciate their monarchy, because it led them to victory. But many of those working class soldiers, returning home triumphant, vote Social Democrat, and scream for reforms. Germany has to keep most of its army mobilized. Russia had been defeated, but not decisively, and the new nations, created in the East, need the presence of German troops. In 1937, Erich Ludendorff is the Chancellor of Germany. This is the situation in 1937. There are several tensions in the world. Germany is the dominant power in Europe, but Slavic peoples are resentful towards German rule. Britain, with diplomatic and financial means, try to undermine German hegemony on the continent. France and Russia want its land back. Middle East is more undeveloped and violent than in our world. There is growing tension and economic competition, between Japan and Germany. USA, still have to recover from the effects of the Great Depression. In Galicia, the population is divided between Polish and Ukrainians. Poland, since 1920, is trying to annex Galicia. There are frequent clashes between Polish and Ukrainian civilians, with hundreds of dead every year. August 20, 1937, Bloody Sunday. On one day alone, 254 ethnic Polish, and 86 Ukrainians are killed in the city of Brodowski Raion. Poland protests, and press Galicia to open negotiations about the annexation of part of Galicia to Poland. 25 August, Galicia sign a military alliance with Britain and France, for mutual assistance in case of invasion, and mobilize its army. On the night of August 31, 1939, a small group of Ukrainian, seized the Gliwice radio station, and broadcast anti-German messages. September 1, 1937, the invasion of Galicia, by Germany and Poland begins. 3 September, France and Great Britain declare war on Germany, turning a regional war, into a world war. 4 September, Italy declare war on France, and Great Britain. The war is on. The second round starts.